everyone, I'm Cynthia Dearson, Chi Global Artist and Pro Systems and Brand Ambassador. And we are here for the very first time at the Chi Studios doing our Chi Academy online. I'm so excited to be presenting to you Chapter 10 with some little bit of highlighting of Chapter 6. And with some little bit of highlighting of Chapter 6. And with some little bit of highlighting of Chapter 6. And with some little bit of highlighting of Chapter 6. And with some little bit of highlighting of Chapter 6. And with some little bit of highlighting of Chapter 6. And with some little bit of highlighting of Chapter 6. Primary colors. These are the colors that make up all of the colors that we see all over us and all around us. So we're going to be showing you, here are my chroma shines to represent my paints, and I'm going to be demonstrating to you how to make a color wheel based off of our primary colors. I have my blue chroma shine, which is our out of blue. We have Dangerously Red and Mellow My Yellow to represent our primaries. And then we have our Orange You Obsessed, Grassroots, Viva Violet, Pearl White, Shades of Gray, and Onyx to represent our secondaries and also our neutrals. So I'm going to go ahead and get started showing you guys a little bit about what the law of color is all about. So the law of color basically represents everything that has to do with color. It is going to make everything work. So when you're doing color in the salon and you're doing color corrections, you can always, always, always count on the color wheel to make your colors more enhanced, neutralized. You can do color corrections, you can actually accentuate, you can lighten, you can also recognize what you're working with underlying pigments. And this is very important as a colorist, because if you know the color wheel, it will never fail you. All right, so I'm going to get started. I'm going to show you how to make some secondary colors with our primary colors. Here I'm going to take my Out of the Blue, and my Mellow My Yellow, and Dangerously Red to represent our primary colors of our color wheel. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and paint these on my canvas so you can actually see the colors. This is going to be primary blue, primary yellow, and now primary red. With these colors, you can actually make every single color that you see, that you're known to see everywhere. Not just in hair, but I'm talking about in life in general. These three colors make up every single color. These are the primary colors: blue, red, and yellow. How do we make secondary colors? Well, the mixture of two primary colors are going to make a secondary color. Let me show you what I mean. Before we get into mixing, because I know that's really fun in painting, I do want to show you a little bit about what I mean when I say that it's important to know how to balance your pigments. For that, I'm actually out a little bit of help from a balance, a scale. So whenever I'm teaching color, I want everyone to learn what I mean when I say when you balance your pigments. It's really important to know how to balance them. And I don't necessarily mean balancing pigments as in one-to-one. I don't mean one-to-one, because to make green, I couldn't possibly make green with one-to-one, knowing that my pigments are represented in a completely different weight. So you see how small the yellow pigment is, and you see how big the blue pigment is. If I were to use a ratio of 1-to-1, I will never get green. This would give me green-ish, but it's actually going to be overpowered by the blue. The yellow will no longer be existing there. So this is how I like to show balancing pigments. So on this scale, I'm going to put 1 part of my blue, and to make violet, I would need to use a red. Blue and red make violet. How many of these is going to take for me to actually tip the scale to balance it? Let's take a look. I have 1 blue over here. There we go. About 3. 3 parts. About 3 to 4 parts of red to blue is going to be what it takes for me to get a true violet color. So now let's see what it takes to get an orange. Now to make an orange, we need red and yellow. I'm going to place my red on one side, and let's see how many beads does it take to actually tip the scale to balance to actually make an orange. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now I'm starting to see it move. 8, 9, 10, 11, about 11 of them. So 11 yellow pieces to 1 piece of red is what it took to actually balance the scale to have an orange tone. Now let's see what happens when I actually put, this is 11 pieces. How many does it take to make a green with the yellow and blue? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, about 30 of them. I show you this to show you how to make it in pigments. That way you have a better understanding of how much yellow you're going to need to blue when you make green. Okay, so let's move on to that. Now that I have my primaries here, I'm just going to go ahead and keep using these primaries. But if I'm going to make a green, I'm going to need a lot of yellow. And just a little bit of blue. Actually, let me use less than that. Do you see that? It already started to shift. You can see the amount of yellow to blue that it took for me to actually get this color to shift to green was next to nothing. I'm going to add a little bit more. This is so fun. This is my favorite part. Okay, so now you see that just a little bit of that blue to a lot of the yellow gave me a green. So that's my secondary. That's my first secondary color. All right. Let me grab a towel. Now I can paint my secondary. I'm going to paint my secondary right here. That looks pretty good. Nice color wheel. Now I'm going to clean my palette here. Actually, I have some green already made over here. So I'm just going to put this into my green. All right. And I can now clean my canvas, because now I'm going to make an orange. Okay, so to make an orange, what do I need? I need yellow and I need red, which is a little bit of red. Remember, the yellow pigment is actually going to be the weaker pigment. It's the smallest of the pigments, so we're going to actually need to use some more of the yellow and less of the red. I should have put some gloves on earlier. All right, here we go. I'll take my primary yellow and I drop that in. My canvas. And now I'm just going to add a little bit of the red. Into the yellow. And you start to see that orange start to form and come through, but you do have to keep on mixing it. Okay, so there's my orange. See that? I'll take my orange, and now I will bring it over to my canvas. Okay. The next one is going to be my violet. Now, violet takes a little bit of time to make. So I'm actually going to pull out a violet that I pre-made, ready to go, because it does take longer and we have a little bit of time. So I'm going to make sure I show you all of the primaries, the secondaries, and the tertiaries. So here's my violet, ready made. And I'm going to paint it now on my canvas. And this was a blend of red and blue. These are my secondary colors. My primaries are blue, yellow, red. My secondary colors is a combination of two primaries. And in this case, my two primaries that made green were blue and yellow. My two primaries that made orange were yellow and red. And my two primaries that made violet were blue and red. Okay? All right, now, it's not over. We still have to do the tertiaries. So what happens with tertiary colors? Well, tertiary colors is actually a combination of a primary color and a secondary color. In this case, let's see. When I take a primary color, let's start with violet and red, since this is what I have in front of me now. I have violet. I'm going to add red. I'm going to mix it together. And what I get is my tertiary red violet. That's going to be a tertiary color, red violet. All right? Now, let's turn it over to the other side. I'm going to take a green, And I'm going to combine the green with a primary blue. And I'm going to get a blue green. Add a little bit more of the blue. There we go. Blue-green. I'm going to make one more tertiary color, and then we're going to go over more of our influencing factors and also monochromatic colors. Okay, another tertiary color that we have is orange and red put together. Orange and red put together to get a red-orange. Now you can see the differences here. This green is much bluer than this green. This orange, it's more red than this orange. And this violet is more red than that violet. Does that make sense? I think this is a really great way to see all the colors, but you can always remember that you can make all of your own tertiary colors by blending one primary with a secondary color. And it's really important. The reason why I wanted to show you the different balances of the pigments is because if you don't get your secondary colors blended well, and you don't get a true secondary color, your tertiaries are going to be off, and any color correction that you need to do is not going to work because it all goes back to the law of color. Okay? All right. Let's talk about, I have a color wheel here. And I want to show you guys a little bit about this color wheel. So this color wheel is going to show us the whole entire effect of how the color wheel works. The yellow is always going to be opposite of violet. The green is always going to be opposite of red. The orange is always going to be the opposite of blue. What does that mean? This means that these colors are opposite on the color wheel and are going to be complementary colors. They're also going to cancel each other out. That being said, let me show you how we cancel these pigments out. Now that I have my primaries and my secondary colors mixed, let me show you what happens when you take green and you add some red to it. These colors look really good together. These are going to be complementary colors, but they also help each other out. They're going to cancel each other, and they're going to make a brown. Why is this important to know? Well, because when you get behind the chair and you have somebody coming in saying, I don't want this red anymore, what do? Don't be afraid to grab an ash green base if she has red hair and doesn't want red hair anymore. Okay, so here you go. It makes a brown. Here's my first one. Red to green gives me brown, a shade of brown, because not all browns are the same. Now let's take a blue, and the opposite of blue on the color wheel is going to be orange. So I'll take some orange, and notice my ratio. actually going to cancel it out. And you can always count on blue to cancel orange out and vice versa. Neutralization. And the last one that I'm going to show you is going to be the one that is so popular right now. Everybody wants yellow out of their hair, and they want nice, icy blonde. Well, guess what? You're going to need some violet in order to get some of that icy blonde out. Where's my spatula? Some violet out. You can instantly see that you get that cancellation of tones and neutralization. So violet is going to give that yellow cancellation. But if you notice, the reason why it's lighter in color is because yellow is the one that was concentrated the most here. So it's going to be a little bit more on the blonder side. All right, so that's cancellation of pigments. One last thing that I want to show you before we move on to our model is going to be a very quick demonstration on how we do a monochromatic scale. A monochromatic scale is this. It's a scale of the same tonal value, but it just goes in different levels. It's a shift of levels. So here's my monochromatic scale in a violet. And you can see it starts out at the lightest, which is white, and it goes over to its mass tone, which is the violet. And it's very simple. I'll just show you the difference in the shifts. You can see that they are related, but they are not the same because one of them is going to be darker than the other or lighter than the other. This is called a monochromatic scale, and it goes in different levels. You see the shift changes in levels, but not in tonal value. That's a monochromatic scale. All right, so that is the color theory part of it. And now we're going to get ready to do some hands-on hair. You ready, Vanya? Vanya, I was going to call you Vanya. Anya, come on over. And we're going to get this out of the way so we can get you to sit down. Thank you. Okay. So on Anya's hair, we actually already did a prep work. We did prep work, and we did use our influencing factors because she has had previously colored hair. She has had highlighted hair. She's actually been one of my models. So in this case, what we just did is we went in with traditional foils and we did as many as possible. But if you notice here, she used to be solid blonde, but I didn't want to do a solid blonde on the top because I just wanted some blend. She's actually starting to grow her hair back out from what we did before, and it's beautiful. But now we're just going to go in and drop some pigments. So I'm going to grab my scale and my bowl. Where's my bowl? There it is. And I'm going to mix my pigments. So I'm going to be using Cheese Shine Shades 10B. I'm going to be using clear, and I'll also be using 8V. My ratios are going to be 1.5 ounces of 10B, half an ounce of clear, and 3 caps of 8B. It's important to be precise in your measurements so you get consistent results, especially since we've already pre-done some of our hair. I want it to be the same. So when I say 3 caps of this, this is the cap that I'm talking about. I'm going to fill it to the top 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. going to activate it with my Chi 10 volume color generator. And on the other side, I'm going to prepare the color that's going to go on her roots, and it's going to be a 6 cm. That's going to be 1.5 ounces of 6 cm, and then 1/2 ounce of 7I. Now I'm going to actually be using cream and lightener all at the same time. Cream and lightener, pardon me. Cream and Shine Shades liquid color all at the same time. Here's my 6 cm in cream color. These are all ammonia free, and the reason that I specify that is because you'll see how I actually use these colors together. I'm going to actually pair them together. I'm going to lay one in, and then I'm going to go back over it with my cream color and layer it on top, and they work in synergy. Right. Just like that. I can combine my Shine Shades liquid color with my cream color. But I am not going to add any developer to this blend. This is going to be dropped as a concentrated root on top of my Chi Shine Shades 10B clear and 8B mixture, activated with 10 volume. Okay. Before I get started, I'm going to prepare the hair with Chi Keratin Mist. Chi Keratin Mist is going to be a porosity equalizer, and it's very important. As you know, influencing factors is everything. So the influencing factors, one of them is porosity, so we have to make sure that everything is now nice and even, especially in Anya's hair. She has multi-porosity hair. All the way down to the ends. And that's our Chi Keratin Mist. Now I'm ready to start dropping in the Chi Shine Shades 10B clear and 8B blend with 10 volume from root to end. And what you see on the other side is the effect of this technique already. You can see that it shifts from one color to another at the root and then mids to ends. So the Chi Shine Shades is actually a liquid color, and it's going to give it lots of shine. This is all ammonia free and PPD free. These colors are non-progressive, so they can actually sit in the hair for as long as you want them to be in the hair. With the regular processing time, it's 30 minutes at room temperature, or for resistant hair, you're going to process it 15 minutes with low heat, and then 30 minutes at room temperature. This also helps whenever you're trying to cover gray. We do have a gray coverage series in our Chi color lines, both liquid and cream. And the reason why this is such a progressive color is because it's a non-progressive color, but it is a very innovative color because it is ammonia free, and we're able to work both of them in synergy. We can even lighten on top of the color at the same time. It's really, really neat. So now I'm going to start to drop in this all the way down. To the ends. Just like this. It's important to consider your influencing factors when you do any color. You have to consider their formation and the texture, the density. Anya is a guest of mine in the salon. She has been a model of mine as well. But we have done so many different colors. She has been every color under the rainbow, literally. And we have been able to bring her back to the blonde life safely with Chi colors and lighteners. Just like this, very quickly, very easy. Chi Shine Shades is a great color that moves easily through the hair. And it's all ammonia free. And not only that, but it is going to be fortified with silk. So it's actually going to become a treatment in the hair as it processes the hair. It has silk, it has aloe, it's very soothing, and it's very replenishing of any hydration or dehydration that the hair might be lacking. It has ceramic technology, which is going to help that color really go deep into the hair. And as you already knew in chapter 6, when you studied the structure of the hair, you know that there's the 3 layers, the cuticle, there's the cortex, and also there's the medulla sometimes. When you're working with finer hair or multi-porosity hair, I actually really do enjoy working with a liquid line because it's a much easier line to go into the hair and actually stay in the hair as opposed to a cream line. And I have the opportunity to work the Chi Shine Shades in the hair with Anya's hair because she has fine hair and medium density, so I can work through it quite fast. Okay, I'm going to turn you over. There you go. Just like this, really quickly. And then I'll just demonstrate on one of these quadrants how I did the shadow root and that shift in color at the rooted area with my 6 CN and my iridescent 7. After I take a few sections, I just marry them together and put the color all the way to the ends. All the way to the ends. There we go. You can already start to see how the pigments are starting to turn and deposit over on the back side that I've already applied. It processes really fast, but like I said, it's a non-progressive color, and non-progressive means it stops processing after its determined time. So this becomes a conditioner. After a while, it's just going to be a treatment in our hair, and it will not change in level, and it will not change in tone. It just becomes a conditioner. Just like this. Okay. And then I'll just demonstrate, so you can see how I did the root. I'll demonstrate on this quadrant here in the front, that I now take my 6 CN and 7I cream, and I did combine the cream with 7I liquid, and I'm just going to drop it in just at the root area. Just at the root. This is going to create a shift in tonal value and also in level. And the reason why I don't have to add more volume to this is because the 10 V with the clear, and the 8V that I applied first already has the volume there to activate this one too. Just like this. And I know that I can do all of these things because color theory is really important, and I eat, sleep, breathe color theory. So now that I know my law of color and I respect the law of color, I know what I can do with it by working with it and not against it. Okay. Just like this. And now we'll continue off camera the rest of the application in the back. So she's going to process 30 minutes at room temperature, and then we're going to rinse until the water runs clear. That's about 5 minutes. We will shampoo with Chi Infra shampoo. Then we will lock the color in with Chi Infra color lock treatment, leave that on for 5 minutes, and then we rinse. And I would recommend, Anya, that your home maintenance system is going to be a color safe maintenance system. And I'm going to recommend that you actually stick to the Chi rosehip oil system for maintaining your color. But this is the after effect. You can see that this nice beautiful lavender color came through, and then it shifted into something a little bit more in the mocha families at the top with the 6 cm. All right, well, I have completed Chapter 10 for you guys. I hope you had fun. My name is Cynthia Dearson, Chi Global Artist and Brand Ambassador for Existence. We'll see you next time. Oh, questions. Yes, I would love to hear your questions. If you guys are watching us still, please give us your questions and I would love to answer them.
One of the questions from Maria Santos. Cynthia,
oh, hey, Maria.
Are you using equal parts of each color?
Okay, that's a great question. Thank you, Maria. Which color exactly are you asking about? Are you asking about the shine shades color or the cream color?
It doesn't specify, so just go ahead and talk about
absolutely. Both. I'm not using equal parts of my pigments, but I am mixing it equal parts with my developer. So my ratios were 10B. It was 1.5 ounces of 10B, a half an ounce of clear, and 8V was 3 caps. And then I mixed that equal parts with 10 volume Chi color generator. And that is what went on the lavender, the whole entire root to end. That was the lavender effect. And then on the top, that rooted area, it actually is my Chi Ionic Permanent Shine Cream color 6 cm. Blended with 7I, and this was 1.5 ounces, and then this one was half an ounce. So that equals 2 ounces. Thank you.
One more question from Shauna. Why are you using clear?
Why am I using clear? I love clear because it gives it lots and lots of shine, but I'm also wanting to dilute a little bit of the V. So by using the clear color, it's not for the V, it's not for the 10B, it's actually for my V. Where's my clear? Here we go. So I already have a level 10B, but I wanted to make this a little bit more like a 9 instead of an 8. So by using clear, I'm actually diluting my 8V a little bit more, so it's not so strong of a violet color. It's just a little hue. Thank you.
From Tiffany Chambers. Hi, Cynthia. I love seeing your work. Will you be doing more webinars?
Thank you, Tiffany. Oh, I'm so excited to hear that you want to see more webinars from me. I would be delighted to do more webinars with you guys. Any more questions?
Tracy Waters. Does Chi have a color wheel with the new shine shades added to it? I laminate a color wheel at Salon and it helps a lot.
Absolutely. I love the color wheels. We have color wheels available. We also have the rings, the swatches, and those are great. But the color wheel, honestly, is the color wheel. Every color wheel is the law of color. So if it comes to needing a specific color wheel for a specific line, to be honest with you, every color line, all of our color lines are designed with the real color wheel. So you can